Armed with a majority Liberal government, Premier Kathleen Wynne today named her new cabinet. It's a 27-member executive council, includes 8 women, 4 rookies, 5 visible minority ministers, and it's a cabinet that Ms. Wynne says reflects the modern Ontario. It's also a cabinet that has some big changes from her previous one. Dr. Eric Hoskins, a medical doctor, becomes the Minister of Health. That's the biggest ministry in government with a $50 billion budget, overseeing hospitals and clinics and healthcare centers all over the province. So it's a big job for a guy who hasn't been tested in such a big ministry before. But he is a doctor, he's a Rhodes Scholar, he's a bright guy, so they have high hopes for Dr. Hoskins. Dr. Hoskins' predecessor, Deb Matthews, has moved to Treasury Board, and she's basically Dr. No in cabinet. Her job will be to tell people what they can and cannot spend money on. She will be helping the finance minister, Charles Sousa, who remains the same in his old job, that she will be telling them that they can't spend money on this, that, and the other thing, because there's a $12.5 billion deficit, and the government has no money. There are other changes. The new Environment Minister is now called the Environment and Climate Change Minister, Glenn Murray. Mr. Murray was the Transportation Minister. He loved being Transportation Minister. He was also responsible for infrastructure, but his old ministry has been changed. His transportation responsibilities go to Stephen Del Duca, his infrastructure responsibilities go to Brad Dogood, and he's been left sort of in his musical chairs as Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, but with no new powers. Premier Wynne says there is not going to be a carbon tax, so this new Environment Minister is pretty emasculated, you could say. We have 2 associate ministers, 2 rookies have come into cabinet. Deepika Damerla is a rookie minister. She is the associate minister for long-term care, so she will help Dr. Hoskins in his file. And Mitzi Hunter, who was just elected in a by-election last summer, is the new associate minister responsible for the Ontario Retirement Pension Plan. That's the new pension plan that Premier Wynne is bringing in, and that she wants to have a dedicated minister to oversee. In all, 4 rookies, and the other 2 are Stephen Del Duca, as I've mentioned, the transportation minister, and Dr. Helena Jasek, Minister of Community and Social Services. Premier Wynne says her cabinet will govern from the activist centre. She has a lot of challenges ahead, and she's hopeful that this cabinet can deliver on the promises from her big election win on June 12th. For thestar.com, I'm Robert Benzie at Queen's Park.